Journals serve as a doorway to Stoic knowledge, in addition to being useful tools for the mind. Journaling is a way to self-reflection and inner peace, according to the Stoic tradition taught by philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca. The happiness of your life rests upon the quality of your thinking, as Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once put it. Writing down your ideas and thinking about them in a book is a practice that fits with the Stoic goal of becoming more moral and bettering yourself. We learn how to keep a deep-thinking thought diary based on Stoicism in this video. We will talk about how journaling is more than just writing in a notebook or a commonplace book. Instead, it turns into a structured process of carefully examining and improving your ideas, like a scholar. I'm going to talk about 3 important Stoic intellectual ideas and show you how to use them in your writing. This way of doing things will help you develop clear thinking and a strong spirit, which are important parts of Stoic theory. Learn how to keep a deep-thinking philosophy journal with me on this trip. This book will help you not only think, but also live. Let's start this Stoic journey of self-discovery together. I have used different types of writing as part of my search for Stoic knowledge. Different types of books, like notebooks, compendiums, soliloquies, and commonplace books, each have their own use in the Stoic practice of getting to know oneself and reflecting. These papers are more than just places to write down my thoughts. They are the tools I use to interact with myself, gain insights, and clear my mind. Before we get into the Stoic art of writing, let's talk about the different kinds of journals. This difference is not set in stone, because Stoicism tells us that thoughts change over time and that each person's perspective is important. In my Stoic tradition, keeping a book is analogous to meditating every day on the things that happen and how I feel, much like Marcus Aurelius did in his Meditations. Through the lens of Stoic thought, it's a record of daily events and feelings that are focused on the individual. A basic Stoic concept is that it helps you understand yourself in the current time. On the other hand, a diary gives you more room to think philosophically. It's not just for daily posts, it's also a place for more in-depth thought and analysis. I am thinking about thinking here, which is what the Stoics call metacognition. In my search for Stoic advice, it's where I break down my ideas, question them, and make them better. As I switched from writing in a diary to writing in a philosophical journal, my focus changed from daily reflection to ongoing philosophical exploration. They're not just for me. Other people are welcome to read and look over them, which is in line with the Stoic ideal of community growth and the sharing of ideas. My intellectual writings, on the other hand, are available to everyone, unlike my personal diaries, which are private reflections of my deepest thoughts and feelings. They're a call for others to follow my journey of self-improvement and interact with my ideas, since I'm always questioning and arguing with my own thoughts, which is in line with the Stoic quest for knowledge. I keep a lot of different papers and journals to help me learn Stoic knowledge. Each one has a different reason for me on my intellectual path. For example, I write down lines and ideas from my favorite books in commonplace books. This fits with the Stoic idea that you should learn from people who have already been smart. Writing about these quotes in my religion commonplace book helps me absorb their knowledge and make it a part of who I am, just like the Stoics tried to be good. Another thing I use as a Stoic is compendiums, which are groups of short, thorough information. Compendium means weighed together, which means a well-thought-out collection of information. As an example, I keep a list of passwords, which is useful, and more importantly, a list of wise words. This last collection, which includes wise sayings for personal growth and to pass on to future generations, shows how important knowledge was to the Stoics. Another important part of my Stoic practice is a book of soliloquies. Because I just started this kind of writing, it's kind of like a cross between a diary and a log. A key part of Stoic self-awareness is the ability to think about and talk to oneself. I talk to myself in these pages, looking into my feelings and thoughts to get a better sense of my inner world. I also keep a notebook for good idea catch-alls. I write down good ideas and thoughts here, which I then move to other, more focused notebooks to think about more deeply. This practice shows how the Stoics believed that ideas should always be looked at and improved. Finally, my small notebook goes with me everywhere, living up to the Stoic concept of always being ready and aware. It's a great place to write down thoughts, to-do lists, and sudden discoveries. This notebook is reviewed and sorted on a regular basis to make sure that no ideas are lost and that every thought finds its proper place to be thought about further. All of these notebooks together make up a patchwork of Stoic practice. Each one is a way to learn more about yourself, gain knowledge, and keep trying to improve yourself and be more good. A book is a holy place for writing down and thinking about your own ideas, in my opinion, which comes from Stoic philosophy. That's where I do the Stoic exercise of thinking about myself and getting smarter. Even though they look a lot alike, my Philosophy Commonplace book and Deep Thinking Philosophy notebook are used for different things on my intellectual journey. The Philosophy Commonplace book is like the Stoic idea of picking up new things from other people. Here, I've put together block quotes from different books that show how smart other people are. I use these quotes to spark ideas that I then grow into blog posts, philosophy papers, and religious talks. This book is full of long quotes, my own thoughts, and scribbles I make while I try to put these ideas together in a way that makes sense. Recently, though, I've felt the need to split this from my deep thinking philosophy log. This is in line with the Stoic value of clear and independent thought. In this book, I start a trip that is more personal and private. In a quiet coffee shop, I take this book and start writing about one idea. Then I get really deep into my own thoughts. This is the perfect example of a Stoic way to practice critical thinking. I push myself with arguments and counter-arguments, trying to get a better understanding of difficult ideas and digging deep into philosophical questions. When I write in my Deep Thinking Philosophy journal, I block out other people's words and focus on my own thoughts and reasons. There are no long quotes in this section because it is just for my own academic research. Here, I do the hard work of original thought by looking at things from different points of view, battling tough ideas, and making my cases stronger. If I find a wise thought in this log, I will add it to one of my other papers and look for quotes or examples from my readings to back it up. This process is like the Stoic way of learning new things all the time, thinking about them, and putting them together. But this deep thinking philosophy log is still mostly my own ideas. It's a record of my path to Stoic knowledge and self-improvement. What is philosophy, and how does one really do it well? Stoicism, a type of Hellenistic thought, can help you with this. Herodotus, a Stoic thinker, said, "First tell yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This says everything you need to know to do good thinking. First, make sure your speech is clear and that your words can be understood. A key part of Stoic discipline is being clear in what you think and say. Second, give good reasons for your beliefs, especially if they aren't obvious or if you're taking a stand that some people might find offensive. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact, said Marcus Aurelius, who was also a Stoic. What we see is only our point of view and not the truth. This makes us think and be sure of our points by using reasoning and proof. Lastly, be careful when you answer concerns and counter-arguments. Think about other people's points of view and reply with well-thought-out reasons. This fits with what Seneca said. We are more often scared than hurt, and we suffer more from our thoughts than from reality. When we apply these Stoic principles to writing in a philosophy book, we find that keeping a journal for deep thought fits in perfectly with Stoic practices. In this kind of book, you need to find a place that is good for thought and write about things that make you think more deeply. Make your writing clear by describing your ideas and words. Using reasonable thought, like the Stoics did, make strong cases for your points of view. Then, prepare for and respond to counter-arguments, which is similar to the Stoic practice of being ready for all possible results and being calm about them. As an example, when you think about the idea of AI, you should do so with Stoic discipline. Ask yourself if the intelligence in AI is really fake or just weird. While you think about this, think about what Epictetus said: "A man can never learn what he thinks he already knows." Question what you think you know and try to make your points clear. John Searle made a difference between intrinsic and secondary intelligence, which you can use to think about what AI intelligence is. Think about whether the intelligence shown by AI systems is just a reflection of the programmer's intelligence, which fits with the Stoic idea that real knowledge comes from within. When dealing with counter-arguments, like the idea that AI systems can be made by a group of people, follow the Stoic ideal of logical debate. There is disagreement about whether these systems' wisdom comes from a group agent or from the people who made them. This is a Stoic activity that helps you think about what knowledge and duty are. Using these Stoic ideas in your writing is an intellectual practice that not only makes you smarter, but also fits with the Stoic goal of living a good, wise, and sensible life. Philosophers who follow the Stoic tradition believe that it's important to not only come up with ideas, but also test them thoroughly. This is why it's important to deal with counter-arguments and counter-examples. When thinking about artificial intelligence, for example, a Stoic philosopher might ask, if an AI system is made by a group instead of a single person, where does the credit for intelligence or praise lie? Is it with the group, or does it stay with the algorithm? Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic, said, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact." This is similar to that idea. By breaking down these points of view, we follow the Stoic way of looking at things from different points of view. One possible response is to take a negative view of group agency, saying that praise or blame should be given to each person individually instead of to the group as a whole. As the Stoics did, this discussion breaks down difficult ideas into parts that are easier to understand. This is in line with Seneca's advice that true happiness is to understand the universe as it really is. This way of thinking about philosophy can be applied to other natural things, like trees or beehives. Does the way they behave and grow over time show that they are smart? If so, was this knowledge created, or does it happen naturally? When we think about the presence of a higher power and the beginnings of natural processes, we come across the overlap with the idea of religion. Epictetus said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." This shows how the Stoics thought about nature. Even though these intellectual discussions are hard to understand, that shouldn't stop anyone from thinking deeply. Stoicism teaches that these kinds of thought tasks help us understand and care about other people. By expecting and responding to complaints, we practice putting ourselves in the shoes of others, which makes us more like the Stoics and more empathetic. People should remember that they have 2 ears and 1 mouth, which means they can listen twice as much as they talk. To sum up, if you want to write like a Stoic philosopher, you need to be able to think clearly, make strong arguments, and think carefully about counter-arguments. This process not only makes the mind sharper, but it also fits with the Stoic goal of becoming good through knowledge and reasonable thought. I'm excited to learn from you now. What interesting ideas do you want to write about in your philosophy papers using this Stoic perspective?